Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily short story. Now, before I start today's story, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this short story and any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers and at your local bookstore and local library if you requested, and you can order paperback copies from Amazon. Now, here's today's short story. I hope you enjoyed just as much as I did writing it.
There are no mistakes in hell. Ashley Floyd flat out loved the sweet hints of her raspberry shampoo perfectly blended with refreshing shea butter and strawberry, as the hot water rained over her body. She smiled to herself. The hot steam covered the cold glass, water droplets formed on the white tiles round her, and the sterile white grout hadn't turned brown like her last shower. She made sure the 3-finger-wide gap at the end of her sliding shower door still wasn't too wide, and thankfully it wasn't. It was the best thing to do in winter when having a shower, because the gap allowed some of the hot steam to escape, so it warmed up the bathroom, reducing the risk of stepping out the shower and shivering as you walked into a wall of coldness. She always did it, and she was never going to stop. The real key was making sure the gap was large enough to allow steam to escape, but not so large that water splashed out the shower. It was an art form. Ashley ran her long fingers through her long brown hair, and she couldn't help smiling. She liked the feeling of the hot water flow over her, the steam covered her body, and the shower was the only time of day she could take a few moments for herself. No responsibilities, no panicking about how to find the next job to apply for, and no looking after her young brother. In the shower, she could simply be herself. Something she definitely wanted more of. Ashley stuck her head under the delightfully warm hot water, started rinsing her raspberry shampoo, and she didn't stop smiling. After months of struggling to find a job, after completing her master's in clinical psychology, she finally had a job interview. She was going to go there, blow the interview panel away, and she was going to get the job of her dreams. She was finally going to be an assistant psychologist, help improve lives, and she would be one step closer towards becoming a fully qualified psychologist. Everyone who had ever doubted her would be completely wrong. And that was a feeling she would love to have. Her parents, her family, and her friends would all be wrong, and that would be a wonderful feeling to treasure. She grabbed her raspberry conditioner, scrubbed it into her long hair, and readjusted the shower head so the conditioner wouldn't be washed off for a few minutes. She was going to prove her family, her parents, and everyone else wrong. Even if it was the last thing she did. Which was very possible given how she lived in Hell's Place. The former council estate where people died, disappeared, and other weird and twisted things happened every day without a second thought. She didn't really believe in the rumors, but after sweet Megan disappeared 2 weeks ago, Ashley couldn't deny it anymore. She had been friends with Megan for years. They went to university together, and now it was like Megan had been completely erased from the face of the earth. That was how evil Hell's Place was, and as soon as Ashley landed an assistant psychologist job, the sooner she could leave this hellscape. Ashley shook the silly thoughts away. She grabbed her scrubby, she added her sea salt, shea butter, and coconut shower gel and rubbed it over her body. The water stopped, the lights went out, and the extractor fan died. Ashley flat out couldn't believe this was happening. She had a job interview in a few hours, she still needed to prepare, and her entire body was still covered in bubbles from her shower gel. And there was still tons of conditioner in her hair. Ashley shivered a little as the cooler air of the bathroom brushed her naked body. She really missed the feeling of the hot water flowing over her. If she went to the interview like this, she would probably never get in. The interview panel would never give her the job, and she would never be able to escape Hell's Place. Everything was too silent. Ashley closed her eyes, listened, and realized there wasn't a car alarm blaring off in the distance. That wasn't normal. Whenever their street normally had a power cut, which was extremely rare, a car alarm from her neighbors always went off. She wasn't sure why. She had never asked, but it was how she always knew the power was back on. This meant it couldn't be a power cut for the neighborhood, or even the street. This was all focused on her home. And her home alone. Ashley opened the sliding doors, stepped out, and she was so glad only a small shiver ran up her spine. She didn't think she could deal with stepping out into a wall of cold air. She grabbed the towel, gingerly wiped the soap bubbles off herself and rolled her eyes. The conditioner in her hair was a problem for later. She still couldn't understand why the hell there was only a power cut in her house and nowhere else. After drying herself off as much as she could with her blue fluffy towel, she opened the smooth bathroom door, opened the small wooden cabinet next to it in her narrow hallway, and she checked the fuse box. She frowned. The fuses were perfectly okay, and she could see all the other electronics were working in the house. It was only the shower and bathroom, even though the fuses said it all should have been working. She shivered as a blast of ice-cold air shot at her. The wooden cabinet felt a lot rougher, colder, and small ice crystals formed over her skin. Ashley shot back inside the bathroom. She shivered, wrapped herself in the blue fluffy towel, and she rubbed her hands together. She was so cold, her entire body shook and her teeth chattered. Then she noticed there was perfectly neat writing in the steam on the sliding shower doors. "Promise me you won't try to escape Hell's Place." Ashley stopped shivering. She took a few steps away from the sliding doors and she stared at the writing. It was too neat for a monster or demon to write, and she supposed in Hell's Place they were all good options and scarily possible. She looked round for her smartphone that she normally kept by the small white wash basin. She couldn't see it and her stomach churned. She hated all of this. She hated the entire damn situation. She had to get ready for her interview and escape this nightmare. The writing melted away, new words formed, and Ashley tensed even more. "Is that your final answer?" Ashley felt utter fear grip her. The writing, Hell's Place, all the nightmares in this hellscape were inside her head and reading her every thought. If that was true, then she couldn't escape, she couldn't be free, and she would always be trapped here. Her stomach churned at the evil realization. She took a few more steps back until her back was pressed against the wet, ice-cold, tiled wall of her bathroom, and she sank to her knees. All she had ever wanted was to escape, be free, and be able to prove everyone wrong. But that was the thing about Hell's Place. If it liked you, appreciated you, and loved to torment you, it was never going to let you go. "I'll always stay, I promise," Ashley said, hating every word she was forcing out. The writing melted away, the bathroom got warmer, and the shower turned back on. Ashley stood up, touched the warm handle on the sliding doors, and she supposed she should have been feeling happy and delighted about the shower working again. Yet she felt sick. She felt sick that it didn't matter what she did, how successful she was, and how badly she wanted to prove everyone wrong in her life. She was trapped here until she died, or until Hell's Place decided it no longer needed her. Like it had decided for Megan. She opened the shower, the hot water flowed over her, and she rinsed the raspberry conditioner off her long brown hair. And she hated every moment of it. Later that day, she went for the interview, she got the job, and she pretended to be grateful. Inside she was sickened, horrified, and she couldn't stop wondering if this was all part of the games of Hell's Place. Because there were no mistakes in hell, everything had a reason, everything had a purpose, and everything was designed to make someone suffer.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Connor Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the internet engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested, and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Connor Whiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help us spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteley Verse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.